recording started, and this will be the last update that I give anyone who's not been seeing any of our other posts for our fundraiser. You can see Tom is now clean shaven, Scott is now clean shaven. I am clinging on to facial hair for as long as my wife will let me. We raised.
Is that just an insecurity thing, Chris, or just a?
It's a. I promised my friends at work that if they donated, I would keep it till our Christmas do, which is on Thursday. That's why it's there. Also, I quite like it. I might keep it. I don't know. We raised £2,168 and we moved 2,076.4 kilometers. So thank you everyone for donating and supporting us. It's yes, it is very humbling how much we've raised and what a good cause that goes to. So a big thank you. Cool. By this point, anyone on Spotify won't have noticed that Tom Feeks looks different. I'm hoping people on YouTube have noticed that Tom Feeks looks different. Feeks, what happened? Feeks is being silent. Sorry, Stu, I was referring to you as Feeks because you're normally in that, because that's who.
Oh, I see. Wait, there you go. I only listen to you on
angry Tom.
I only listen to you. I don't watch, so that completely passed me by.
That's fine. I was messing around with AI recently, and it thought that our podcast had 3 hosts: Chris, Scott, and Tom, who was affectionately known as the Toms.
Nice.
But oh well. Let's dive in. Play the intro. Hello everyone and welcome to New Dice Please, the bite-sized Blood Bowl podcast brought to you by the people at Blood Bowl Live. My name is Chris. Joining me as always, Mr. Scott Bryan. Scott, Stu has a question for you.
Hi Scott, how are you doing today?
Stu. I was up until that point great, living the dream, but now I'm very nervous and scared, and I've got sweaty palms.
It's okay. This is entirely based on what I can see. What is your favourite paint colour?
What is my favourite pink colour?
Paint colour.
Paint colour. Pink.
Yeah. What type of pink? Screamer pink or?
I'll probably say Fulgrim.
Yeah. Cool.
Joining us also Mr. Tom Hovell. Tom, Scott, Stewbacca has a question for you.
Hi Tom, how you doing? What is your favourite paint colour?
Favourite paint colour? White Scar.
White Scar, nice.
Gets rid of everything.
Sorry, but it's a shit paint. Just putting it out there.
Paint.
It's not the best paint anyway.
Joining us, as you can tell as well, is none other than Stu Anderson himself, aka Stewbacca. Stewbacca, thank you so much for coming back on. Do you want to ask yourself the question?
Of course. Stu, what is your favourite paint colour? Well, Stu, thank you for asking. My favourite paint colour is Averland Sunset, because every time I use it, I get Waterloo Sunset in my head, but with the words changed to Averland Sunset. And it makes my day a little bit happier.
Very nice.
Thank you.
That's very nice.
And Chris, what's your favourite paint colour?
I think it's called it's a blue contrast paint, and it's called Talazar blue or something like that.
Talazar blue, Chris.
Is that the one I've used
now? People are going to be like, contrast paint isn't a proper paint.
Oh, well, they can do one. I've used that one on so many D&D minis have got that blue on them because it's nice and it pops. It's very nice.
You're going to get Games Workshop now complaining you can't use our paint on non-Games Workshop minis.
Oh, well, they can jog on too. Nothing like making enemies with the people who make the game that you do a podcast about, is there?
Well, there's the NDA in the bin already, and any exclusive content.
Direct from our ethics manager.
It's from the ethics committee. We're not here to talk about flavors of paint. I think flavor is an okay word. Just
do you eat your paint? I'd be a bit worried.
I mean, some of them look tasty, right? Some of them look like the contrast ones always look like you're like, yeah, if that was icing, I'd give it a go. But we're not here to talk about paint. No, we've got Stu on for a reason. If you are a TO, I think this is a good episode to listen, because all TOs who have got a tournament out there ready to go, and if you go on the NAF website and you look at the list of tournaments, there are loads of them that have been registered well before we knew that 3rd edition was a thing. And 3rd edition is now here, and we've all seen it, and we've all got used to it a little bit. We're still getting used to some things. We're still waiting for some clarifications and all this sort of stuff, but we've got the new edition. But it means that all of those TOs out there, unless they are planning to stick to the 2nd edition of the game, which some of them might be, may need to refresh their rule set. It's something that we have to do for the Ipswich Classic in April. We're going to have to rewrite the rules if we want it to be 3rd edition, which we do. And it's something, Stu, that you have had to do already with the Kent Team Championships, of course, which are much sooner in February. So how have you kind of approached that? Have you been playing Blood Bowl long enough to have done this before, or is this the first time that a rule set has thrown things up? Like, where have you kind of been with all of this?
So I've been playing long enough to experience a change into the 2020 Season 2 edition, but I wasn't running events at that time, so it wasn't really anything that impacted me. But it is now, as I've run at least one event a year, which is a fairly large one, and was also fairly close to the release date, but not close enough to skip over and play 2020. So yeah, it's not something I've done before, but I experienced it a little bit in a couple of events early 2021, probably, because no one was playing anything in 2020 because of COVID. So like the NAF Championships, for example, didn't really know what to do, and it's always quite a conservative rule set anyway, and they just basically made that flat. Everyone had 1150 and 6 skills, or some 6 and 1, something like that. So I've experienced it to that extent, but not fully, and not in the TO seat, basically.
I guess the change that has come in, the biggest change is around the roster changes, more so than kind of general gameplay. Like any 3rd edition kind of practice games that I've played, it feels like I'm playing the same game. So from that perspective, you know, there's not a huge amount other than kind of secure the ball, and I guess the passing changes, probably some of the bigger ones. I guess that probably, that's what I'm kind of thinking, is that almost makes it more difficult, that there are the changes around an area that a lot of tournaments already had a lot of variation and question on, kind of where you put teams tier wise and how much kind of budget you give them. That was already a thing that was so widely varied. It's almost kind of makes it a bit more complicated.
Yeah, so I've played 2 practice games of Season 3, and my experience is very similar to yours. It's just like little things, and then when you go to use a skill, looking it up just to make sure it hasn't changed, and that sort of thing. But it's not, the core gameplay is very similar, and like you say, it's the rosters, and also the star players as well. I think where some of them are changed in price or skills and things like that are the key thing. And it's obvious that some races have got stronger and some have got weaker. Some of it is probably self-evident, but quite a bit of it we won't see until we start playing it out. So, and like you say, yeah, lots of tournaments have a lot of variation about how they tier things and what they give to tiers. And I guess the other key thing is the new elite skills, and how that plays into it. So the approach that we've decided to take is, one of the people who are organising it, a guy called Andy Rue, who's he basically somehow got his filthy hands on the rulebook a few weeks early, and read through it all and came up with his assessment of what he thought the tiers should be. We put that alongside some from other people and other events that announced early what they were doing. And then when we finally got GW's tiers a couple of weeks after all of that, we put them there, and we looked to see where there was consistency amongst what people felt, and where there wasn't, and there was probably a bit more agreement than not, I'd say. So what we did was we took GW's tiering and then tweaked a few teams up and down, basically, because we wanted to be quite conservative. Like, no one has played this rule set properly yet, and it feels like we should play it before we really try and tweak it too much. So we've really only done it where it seems fairly obvious that Games Workshop have got something wrong in terms of the tiering. And then we basically banned stars apart from Stunty, or the Stunty tier, except for Snotlings, who we've effectively cut out of Stunty because we think they're pretty good. So only the Stunty, 4 other Stunty teams can take stars, and then we've cut out a load of ones that are available. So we had a ban list anyway, which was like the old Mega Stars list plus a few more, and we've added to that everyone who seems like they could be really strong, or literally breaks the game in that they've got AG1 plus and can do anything they ever want, because of Games Workshop missing a little bit of a rule there. So that's what we've done with those, and then we wanted to bring the elite skills in some way, but we didn't want to make it as limiting perhaps as the rulebook suggests, in that 4 elite skills could be really bad for some teams.
I'm really happy by the way that elite skills are being looked at in this particular rule set.
Yeah, so effectively we wanted to say, okay, elite skills are a thing, but we've capped them at 1 fewer than the amount of skills that each tier gets. So effectively, every team has to have 1 non-elite skill. Obviously, they can have more if they want, but yeah, they can almost max out on elite skills, because there are some teams who probably need a lot of them, like Chaos and those sort of teams where they want a lot of block and guard. You know, they'd probably just be unplayable if you capped it at 4. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out in other events. And one that I'm going to week after next has effectively got a system where elite skills cost double. So I think you get 6 skills maybe for tier 1. So you can either have 6 non-elite skills or 3 elite skills, and 3 elite skills just seems really, really harsh.
Especially when that's all the skills you can have. Like, as a lizard coach, that is making me cry.
Yeah, so there's 4 of us going, and we're currently trying to work out the least rubbish option for that. But it's an event over in Belgium that we wanted to go to because we know some of the people, and they came over to Kent last year, and you know, we've met them a few times. So it'd be nice to go over there and you know, have some Belgian beer while we're there. But the rule set is very tricky. But it's interesting, you know, because I want to play a wide variety of rule sets under the new rules to see, you know, it's good to experience all the stingy ones and the generous ones and be able to work out where I mean, everyone's going to have different opinions on it anyway, but where the right sort of way to pitch it is.
So someone who started their life in season 2, so I don't know any of the previous ones or anything like that. When I came in and we're talking tournament play in this episode, everything had kind of been set. You didn't see a lot of variation. What you're talking about at the moment is there's lots of different variations. So a couple of questions to you. First of all, with your tournament, because of the rule changes and because of different people playing at different levels and having different exposure to the new rules, how are you going to handle that extra time? Because playing games, you usually play like 3 games in a day. And already I've been in tournaments where you've got people walking around tapping the wristwatch, going,
Yeah.
"Come on, move it on," and it's like everyone's been playing this now for 3 years, X kind of thing. Now, are you thinking, do we go down to even 2 matches? Do we extend the period of time? Do we be a bit more, due diligent on, like, everyone's got to be there at 9 o'clock and we literally have to start at 9:15?
So we're not going to reduce the number of games. What we have done is the venue's got so we use 2 floors of the venue, and we have a projector on each floor where we've checked a clock, and I found a way to get those synced last year, so it's fairly visible how much time it is left. We last year, or this year even, last event, we introduced a rule where when it gets to time, we don't say dice down. We'll let you play on if in either the current turn or the following turn, someone can score a touchdown that would affect the result. So if someone's 2-0 up, we'd expect them to call it. But if it's 1-1 or 1-0 and the other team has the ball, we let them play on a bit, which seems like a fair way of doing it. But we do also have announcements every so often, let you know how much time. We'll walk around and chat to you. But like you said, it's an interesting point that everyone had been playing the last edition for a good few years, so it would go quite smoothly. We did look at extending the time on round 1 because that, like, if someone hasn't played or has only played a few games, that'll be the one where they're more likely to need a bit more time just to get up to speed. And what we might do is just say, look, you can play into lunch for a quarter of an hour to make it a 2.5 rather than a 2-hour 15 game. But as Chris was saying, fundamentally what you're doing in the game is very similar. So I'm not expecting too many games to overrun.
Okay, and just kind of a quick question for you: what rule do you think is going to cause the most issues? So what's the one that you're going to be
which is keeping you up at night, Stu?
Yeah.
I mean, is it stalling?
STO, which one is going to keep you keeping your steps up, walking up and down, going, okay, yes, I've had this. This is how it works.
So AG1 Plus, it was ridiculous, which is why we've got it banned. So the short answer is that I'm expecting the NAF to come out with like an FAQ in the next month or so, into like just as a placeholder until we get Games Workshop one in May, just so that there's a bit of consistency across leagues, across tournaments, around the ones where you can read the rules in 2 different ways. The one that I think is going to be difficult for a TO to judge on is stalling. And regardless of whether or not you think it's a good rule or a bad rule, the issue would be that if you're called over to a game and one player says their opponent was stalling and their opponent says they weren't, you've not seen everything that's happened in that turn, so you don't know where they started, where they ended, etc., etc. So I think that's going to be the one that's going to be tricky for TOs to rule on. But I guess there's lots of people who play this game. Some of us are a lot more addicted than others. So I consume a lot of Bloodbowl content, read lots of discussions about rules and things like that. But you'll have someone who will play very casually, play 1 or 2 tournaments a year, or if that, and won't have had all that discussion. So they might not be as familiar with the new rules, and I don't know. It's a very difficult question to answer. But I think stalling is going to be the one that's more difficult to judge on as a TO.
And in terms of when you've been looking online and listening to a lot of other Blood Bowl coaches' feedback, Stu, has there been any particular thread or topic which has sort of made you just roll your eyes and think, guys, just call it, just move on with life, just put it down, go and roll some dice for God's sakes?
Yeah, there are some people who read into everything a lot. So I've seen people argue that animal savagery ends your activation, but
yeah, I saw that. It's like,
but it doesn't. Yeah, there's no text to indicate that it does. There's people claiming that you can rush before the end of your
rush
movement.
in the middle of your movement rather than the end. Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, and I think rules lawyering it. They're definitely you can definitely see their point if you're being really picky. But we've all played this game previously. We know roughly the intent of these rules. I would expect them to play out very, very similarly to how they did in the last edition. But having said that, no one thought that multiple rerolls a turn was a thing until someone rules lawyered it, and then Games Workshop said, no, that's exactly what we intended all along. So who knows? They may come up with, that's exactly, we intended that you could rush at any point. Of course, why not? You'd speed up your movement when you want to, just to dodge around this player or whatever.
So
I might have got that wrong. Can you just because obviously Stu, you and Chris have done that. So can you just explain that really? So I've got that right. So people are saying they want to rush in the middle of the movement.
Yes. Yeah. So rather than if you've got, let's say, 8 points of movement and 2 rushes, then they want to say, well, I'm going to do 3 points of movement. I'm then going to do 2 rushes. Then I'm going to do the remainder 5. So you're still doing your 10.
You still got to do the 2 rerolls. Do they think if you do a reroll earlier?
Well, you could do the rush within your. You could build a cage and basically rush within your cage, so that if you fail, you don't leave the ball in such a position as if you were to fail in the end zone, for example.
Okay, yeah.
The thing on stalling, I think this, because we played 3 games of 3rd edition a couple of weeks ago, and we had a discussion on stalling then where I think where we landed was foregoing an activation is an action, I think is the phrase that was used. So if you choose not to activate, that is an action. So if you leave your ball carrier to the last moment and you turn over before you get to the end of your turn, you haven't ever activated them, because you haven't activated them to not activate them, which means you're not stalling, which is how we kind of ran it for the day. And in my head, I kept thinking that it felt ridiculous, because you still had the option within your turn to do that easy movement without rolling dice to go in. So in a way, you still have scored, but you have not activated your player in order to forego the action, which is just I can see why.
There's definitely going to be ways around it.
And equally, the ultimate anti-stallers are the vampires.
Well, you vampires and ogres who just don't care, do they?
Yeah. Well, it's like, I've got to roll dice, I'm not stalling. I'm standing right there. The thing I wanted to kind of get clarification on, because there's 2 special new rules. One was an old rule, which is bribery and corruption, which has got an addition to it, and the other one is team captain. So the fact is that bribery and corruption, the classic scenario, but equally once per game, when a team with this special rule rolls a 1 to argue the call, they may re-roll it.
They did have that before.
Yeah. Now, are you carrying that on into tournaments? And equally, team captain. So the team captain one, someone can automatically get pro. In those teams, keeping that as well in tournaments.
I think so. I think we're like I was saying, we want to try and play it as close to what was written to test it out, but with
his ogre team, sorry,
but with some slight adjustments where we think it's needed. So the slight adjustments are like with the tiering and with not not capping elite skills, and getting rid of some stars. But other than that, we're trying to embrace the new rule set as much as we can, and as fully as we can. So we didn't previously include some of the inducements that we're now doing. So Team Mascot and Weather Mage and Joseph Bugman. So we're including them now partly because some of them have been promoted to the main rulebook, and partly because they're now more useful. So Weather Mage previously I thought was utterly rubbish. But I think now there might be an argument to take it on some teams at some points. And it'd be interesting to see if anyone does. Because previously it lasted for your turn and then your opponent's turn. But now it lasts until the next time it changes weather. So you could theoretically try and make it rain when your opponent wants to pick up the ball, or try and get rid of a blizzard when you want to pass, things like that. So I think it'll be a bit more interesting now.
What you're thinking about the whole praise to Nuffle?
Oh, that's
not being on the kickoff event, and then 10k for up to 3 in terms of inducements, Stu.
It's great that it's not on the kickoff event. I always rolled the dice and told my opponent that I hope we roll the same number, so we don't have to look anything up, and don't have to remember anything. And it happens way more often than expected. But the 10k inducement just seems ridiculous, because it was 50k before. Obviously making it cheaper might have been a good idea because people weren't taking it, but when you can buy 3 of them and you've got a reasonable chance of hitting a random mighty blow, for example, or a random pro, then it just feels really, really good.
Well, I can tell you, I played 3 games against 2 of these colleagues, and I got prayers to Nuffle. I got on one of them, I got a mighty blow, and also then I got another kind of mighty blow-esque through prayers to Nuffle as well. So I had 2 mighty blow players. I lost 3-0 on that game. The other game, I got prayers to Nuffle. I used my prayers to Nuffle and got some fantastic stuff that took out some of his big players. I lost 4-0 on that game.
Aye.
So yeah,
Scott, it was 4 throw teammate touchdowns in the second half.
Yeah.
It was quite frankly
ogres against
incredible.
Necromantic Horror, and I was playing Necromantic Horror, and I thought I've got this, and he was just lobbing him. So what I think is the throw teammate thing's broken. It's broken.
Well, I think the thing when I looked at the changes to the Kent Team Championship rule set, I think to me it felt like and whether this was kind of the intention, it feels like a kind of almost a sensible bridge, almost a sensible stepping stone into it. Like it's kind of like you say, it's acknowledging some of the changes, acknowledging some of the tiering, acknowledging the fact that elite skills are a thing, and some of those changes, while also kind of looking at them and going, you know, some of these changes like the elite skills possibly a bit harsh, but we want to recognize them, but not, you know, it's not so, you know, it's not going to be a tournament where it doesn't look like a rule set that is going to feel uncomfortably different if you're kind of, it's your first one out of second edition and into third. I think I feel like particularly the elite skill table and some of the tiering changes, you know, Necromantic being in tier 1 where they completely deserve to be, you know, some things like that seem very sensible. So I think Ipswich Classic may look very similar, subject to, you know, the January being full of tournaments that suddenly uncover things that we then need to look at. So I'm keen to get some almost guidance from you on Kent Team Championship. So we are going, myself, Mr. Bryant, Mr. Hovel, and Mr. Tom Feeks, team New Dice Please on our first team outing. I feel a lot more confident preparing for Kent after doing the doubles tournament, the double bangers at the weekend, because that was my first kind of in a team, and how your opponents, how your partner's results impact your result and how you kind of think there. what do we is there anything that you would, as its first team tournament, is there any words of wisdom you would give us, either with team building, because the team building is more flexible because of the unsure on the tierings than it would have been last year? What kind of pearls of wisdom would you give us to be vaguely successful?
I mean, the most important thing is that you have team shirts, so you all match. That's
We've got them. We can do that. That's good.
I don't think there's any more advice I can give you then. So, I mean, team events are great because you play every game sat next to your mates. So that is the best reason for doing it. In terms of tactics and what you want to do, I guess it depends on how competitive you think you are or you want to be. Because I've been to team tournaments where, so the World Cup was 2,100 people, something like that. So we were obviously not going to do very well. I was the team captain and I didn't really give any team orders. I was just like, yeah, how are you doing? Keep going. You can do this or whatever. But then I've been to team events where we've been doing okay, or even won one earlier this year. And, you can try and be competitive. So the thing to remember is that drawing your game in a team event is totally okay. Because as a team, you can win one game, draw the rest of them, and win the round. So picking teams where you feel you can get a draw, even if everything's going really, really badly, is a good idea if you want to be competitive. Picking teams that you're really comfortable with is probably also another good idea, because you don't want to really, like I say, this is if you want to be competitive. But picking teams that you can do well with or quite practice with is a good idea. And I guess just chatting to your mates during the games as well, seeing how they're doing. And that sort of thing.
You've now got me very nervous because I've just got images of Chris now just looking at me going, stop rolling, just stop rolling, stop rolling.
How many dice are you rolling, Thomas?
He's going to get a big stick, especially if he's sitting next to me, to just whack my hand.
Who's the captain of your team?
Do we have to have a captain? We have to
I don't think there's anyone whose head it won't go to. Is the problem.
So the only real reason you need a captain is to just to make sure you're all checked in and all in the right place and that sort of thing. It's very informal. It's often just collecting your gifts and bits like that.
I think we shall do the usual, Chris. We shall let the dice decide between all four of us the night before.
The problem with that is that
he can't let go of control.
I'm scared of Tom Feeks, the team captain. He's not here, so I can say it.
Okay.
I think he's the most competitive of the three of us, and I think he'd therefore make the scariest captain. I think Tom Hovell should be our team captain.
Wow.
I mean, in terms of what the captain does during a game, it is the person who says hold out for a draw or push for a win, basically. And like I say, it might be worth doing that a little bit just to sort of embrace the experience and understand how team events work. But it's not it's a fairly large event. We've got 30 odd teams, I think, but it's not as large as some of them, and so it's probably not as scary or competitive in terms of the pure number of people there who will be wanting to try and win it.
So run me through that, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Because I've never played kind of a team kind of game on this. When you say hold out for a draw or go for a win, what is that? Because there's people on here probably listening now and probably never played. They've played lots of tournaments, but they've always been up single and all that kind of stuff. So what's the difference? What's the key thing about the scoring and whatever?
Okay, so there will be individual scorings, and there is a prize for the best individual. But as a team event, what you're doing is winning, drawing, or losing as a team, and that's based on whether you win more games than you lose, effectively. So the four of you will be sat side by side, and say all three of you are drawing, then either the other Tom, you'll want him to win, or hold out for a draw so you get a team draw, effectively, if that makes sense.
So if Tom pushes for the win and ends up with the loss, we get a loss as a team, whereas if he holds on for the draw, we would get a draw as a team.
Yeah. So you're looking at it from a collective point of view, and the way it should work. So obviously the first round, as all tournaments, is random. So your team will be drawn against another team randomly, and then within those teams you'll be drawn randomly. After the first round, it'll be Swiss. So if you win your first game collectively, you'll be up against another team that won collectively. And then within your teams, you'll be ranked, and the first in your team will play the first on their team. So that'll be on whatever tiebreakers there are in a particular event, as well as your total individual points. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And as a temporary captain, I declare that we will have a New Dice Please cone of shame who brings us down. So each time we'll have to wear the cone of shame in the following match. Okay?
I think
that's fair.
I think in the new year we do an episode where we all pitch our pitch for team captain, and then we give listeners a couple of weeks to vote, and we'll let the listeners decide who the captain is.
That's basically how Team England got their captain. So I think it's a very
it's a tried and trusted model. Yeah,
we'll do that.
That sounds good.
Okay. Thank you for that advice.
Okay.
I'm very much looking forward to it, and I think it's going to be a really, like, we've had such fun at tournaments that we've all been to. Like when we went down to or up to Sheffield, and we were all there, you know, after each game we kind of had that kind of team mentality anyway, of chatting to each other, how have you got on, like, you know, it's all gonna be all right, you can do okay in the next one, a couple of boops on the nose if we need to cheer people up if they get a bit down. So I think we'll kind of nail that, and yeah, it'll be really fun to see. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to sit back, I'm going to relax, and I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of our quickfire coach master, captain of the quickfire coach, you could say, Mr. Scott Bryan. Scott, over to you.
Thank you, Christopher. That's all I want in life, Christopher. Just a little bit of appreciation. That's all I want. I ask for the simple things in life. Unfortunately, life gave me a mortgage and a family, like most people. Right, let's move swiftly on. So, Stu, this is the time of the quickfire coach, or anything that you missed out on last time, unfortunately. Since introduced this. So this is the part of the podcast with guest coaches that people hate to love, and they love to hate it as well. This is about gauging your true level of Blood Bowl coaching, your Blood Bowl coaching persona. Are you a true Blood Bowl hero, a pillar of the community, or are you simply that guy? So what we're going to do is we'll do 10 quick fire questions. Those questions will be then looked over and judged upon by our ethics committee chairman, Mr. Chris Coe, and then you will be given an arbitrary score, some sort of random number, and then we'll see where you sit on the leaderboard, in terms of how that looks. And in the future, this may earn you points of glory, merchandise, paraphernalia, all sorts of New Dice Please goodness in your life. So, Stewbacca, 10 questions. What sort of Blood Bowl coach are you? Are you ready?
Didn't realise it was actually
I haven't started yet. He's too keen.
Why bother timing? There is no point in timing. He arbitrarily just says, I'll start it so I'll finish. There is no timing aspect. He got lucky last time.
Chris, don't shatter it. We worked hard to get
every time.
Right, Stu, ignoring the special people over there, are you ready?
I was born ready.
Excellent. So, Stewbacca, question number 1, block or dodge?
Dodge.
Question number 2, worst new devious skill, eye gouge or saboteur?
Saboteur.
Question 3, for season 3, which team got nerfed the most?
Probably. Everyone says humans. I would imagine it's probably then, but I don't know until I play it.
Okay. Question 4, most frustrating Blood Bowl model to build?
Lots of people say the pump wagon, but I love that. Griff, because you're supposed to put his helmet on at the wrong time, the instructions.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Question number 5, biggest dislike so far in season 3?
The AG1 Plus.
Okay. Question number 6, best new skill in season 3, taunt or punt?
That's interesting. I'd say taunt because it will get used more.
Okay. Question number 7, team you want to avoid playing in season 3 is?
Playing as or against?
Playing against.
Playing against. Probably orcs. Okay.
Question number 8. Thank you, GW. The best bit in the new season 3 box is?
The environmental friendly packaging.
Question number 9. What the GW? Why did you include this? Worst thing in the season 3 box?
The cat, because my daughter wants it and I want to keep it.
Very good. And question number 10. This is where I've started, so I'll finish, Mr. Hobble. Question number 10. What's the most romantic to share with your loved one? Wrestle like a squire or rise again like a tomb king?
Wrestle like a squire.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Some sort of buzzer alarm will go off to signal the end of that quiz as well. So whilst we wait, Mr. Chris Coe, our Ethics Committee Chairman, will be looking at your scores, and we'll come back to that. If you do want to know your scores and the results, Stu, if you want to find a form on the internet, send it to us in triplicate. We may or may not get back to you ever, possibly not ever, but hey, it'll at least satisfy you that due process is maybe being followed as well.
That's fine. I have to send forms to HMRC all the time. I'm used to people not getting back to me.
That's perfect. Then you will know exactly how we operate then. A fine level of bureaucratic administration. That's how we roll. Okay, over to you then, Mr. Chris Coe. How has Stewbacca scored this evening?
Rise up like a tomb king. You only got away with that because Tom Feeks isn't here. He would have absolutely, you'd have floored him with that.
I'm seeing his little chirpy face when he listens back to this on the Thursday.
Unbelievable.
I know.
It's a tough one. This is actually the toughest one because there is some kind of that I almost want to give half points to. So I'm gonna go with 8.5.
Oh, that's pretty respectable.
Which is I think it's a respectable score.
Yeah. And anything over 7's good, is right.
It's very good as well, and that will put you joint third with Mr. Alistair Pring on the leaderboard. Congratulations! You're just behind Dan D for Dan Atherton and the magnificent green-skinned Phil, Mr. Christopher Blunt.
Wonderful.
Cool. And last thing, I just want to know, which coach has you on toast at the moment?
Which coach has me on toast?
Yeah. So if you know the cricketing phrase, has you on toast, as in someone is your arch nemesis at the moment and you cannot beat them for love nor money. Chris has me on toast at the moment, see, to use the phrase.
I thought it was like one of these young people phrases, but if it's cricket based, it's I should know.
Am I your arch nemesis at the minute?
I would say it's a guy called Andy Primhack.
Is Andy your arch nemesis at the
Andy
moment?
Primhack.
He has you on toast.
Primhack. He's
Chris has me on toast because at the moment, any time we play Blood Bowl, he will win the roll off. He will put all of his Blocksaurus on the line, and then I'll be down to 8 players if I'm lucky by the end of turn 1.
That's the pain of playing Edge, though. And just one final question from me, because I love the idea that lots of these new tournaments are so diverse and different skills and everything. Do you think something like Euro Bowl or the World Cup will start to dictate the standard play of tournaments because everyone will want to play to learn the skills of how to play in those big leagues?
That seems to have been the pattern over the last few years, that lots of tournaments just say, okay, we'll play that rule set and get practice to it. I've seen a draft copy of the Eurobowl rule set, and I don't understand it. It's far too complicated. I can share that with you later if you want to have a look. But yeah, it's very, very confusing. I would like ones that would be a bit simpler to follow, but who knows?
Okay, cool. Thank you.
No worries. Before we finish up, can I just plug the event itself?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Please do.
definitely.
Go ahead.
So it's on the 21st and 22nd of February in Canterbury at the you might like it, Scott. It's at the Canterbury Cricket Ground.
Looking forward to it.
The only cricket ground that had a tree in it. It's no longer there, unfortunately. Yeah. But if you hit it, you automatically got a boundary, which was a nice quirk. So it's in Canterbury, which is a lovely city itself. 21st, 22nd of February. It's £200 for a team of 4, and you're going to get a Charlie Victor Dice Cup and meals on both days, lunches on both days, as well as maybe some other swag, including New Dice Please swag if you are the last place team. So thank you for that, guys. We've got probably be about space for 6 more teams if anyone's interested. So it's on the NAF, it's on Talk Fantasy Football. You can find it on the Southeast Discord. You could drop me a carrier pigeon, however you prefer to your communication to find out more.
We are very, very much looking forward to it, and I've got a few tournaments already lined up next year, but that's kind of one of the highlights in my calendar at the minute. I think we've got our team going, we've got another team made up of people locally as well going, so it's going to be a very, very fun weekend. If you have been listening to this episode, if you're a TO and you're thinking about what you're going to do for your tournament, if you're not a TO but you're wondering what tournaments you're going to be turning up to, if you sit somewhere in between in the middle of those two categories, Mr. Scott Bryant, how do people get in touch with us?
Mr. Chris Coe, if people want to get into touch with us, sorry, one of the days today. If people want to get in touch with us to talk about how they can get hold of Stewbacca because they've decided they want to run a team at the Kent Team Championship, if they want to tell us who's got them on toast at this moment in time or any particular paint colour they like to lick out of the pot until it's all gone, drop us a note, newdiceplease@gmail.com, all the usual cases in there as well. And Mr. Tom Hovell, we're almost not far off from more hot live Blood Bowl action. So if people want to catch up on previous matches or get ready and itching and waiting for the new season to be launched imminently, how can people see?
Absolutely. And please do not drink paint. Please do not drink paint. That's a safety note for everyone. So you can see us as well as hear us on YouTube under Blood Bowl Live, where we obviously stream New Dice Please, but also our league will be resuming back end of January. So you can get to see a few games there. We're also on Instagram and Blue Sky under New Dice Please. And I'm going to throw something out here for the Kent kind of tournament. I will put up a team of which I've got many still in cellophane to whoever comes up to us who shows us where the furthest they've come from to that tournament. So the furthest person who actually comes up to one of us in New Dice Please at the Kent tournament, you'll and show us where you've come from and give us proof of where you've come from to get to Kent. You'll win a prize.
What sort of proof would be acceptable to you?
Yeah, do you want to do they need to come up to us and say a particular phrase or something?
No.
Give you a secret handshake.
So the nice thing was that we when we were up at Open Bowl, there were people from Finland, people from Denmark. There were
the Grand Finquisitor. He was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you're out there and you're listening to our lovely little podcast here, and you're thinking, maybe I should come to a Kent tournament. Well, there is a team waiting for you if you are the furthest away from Kent.
Tom, is Mrs. Hover been having words about possibly putting everything in a skip?
Yeah.
Is everything okay at home, Tom?
I'm trying to get rid of this rubbish human team that she's actually telling me about.
Got too many positionals. The other thing The other thing I didn't mention that you just remind me of, Tom, is that you're going to be doing some streaming of the event as well.
We
Hopefully it'll be
are.
well.
So
Yes.
we will be bringing a brand new pitch, which keep an eye out over the next couple of weeks for our first video on our brand new pitch that we're going to be working on. And we will be streaming the games on both days. So we will be bringing you all of the footage from probably the top table of the top teams. So you'll get to see some good live Blood Bowl action from Blood Bowl Live at the tournament as well. Perfect. Well, let's end it there, shall we? Thank you very much, Stewbacca, for joining us this week. It's been a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you, Stu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Scott Bryant. Thank you very much, Mr. Tom Hovell. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We've been New Dice Please, and we will see you next time.
Keep it away.
What I was gonna ask is so Hovell, who's got you on toast at the minute? Who's your nemesis right now?
Oh, come on. I have no idea. Never heard the phrase in my life.
Have you got a nemesis?
Have I got a nemesis?
Yeah.
My dice. That's probably my biggest nemesis. No, I don't know. Probably Justin, because I never win against Justin.
I think it's anyone called Andy. I just don't beat people called Andy.
It's Andy's, isn't it?
Like I just can't beat Andy's. So I think it's, if I need to pick a particular Andy, it is current Langdon Blood Bowl League champion and ADBBL runner-up Andy Howell, who I have lost to his Snotlings, lost to his Shambling, lost to his Necro, lost to his Vampires. I can't remember the last time I've beaten him, so I think it's probably him.
Yeah. So it goes back to in the 2019 Ashes, if you like your cricket, Stu, when Stuart Broad had David Warner on toast at the time because he was just all over him and taking his wicket, and Warner just seemingly was, had one of those series where he seemed to be incapable of playing Broad. So so that is where the phrase comes from. If someone has you on toast, and at the moment Chris has me on toast, which is a bit.
There we are. See, if you listen past the end title sequence, you may just learn something. How about that?
That's what we're here to do, Chris. Educate the masses.
Educate.
And obviously to clear out the spare room for Tina when